Hello and good evening, everyone. Good evening and happy Tuesday. I can't believe how fast Tuesday comes around. It's like blink and it's here again, but I'm so excited. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Dr. Monique. I am your host of Vegan-ish, and I'm so glad that you're joining us today. Ellis, how are you doing today?
Look, I'm like that old spiritual. I'm yet holding on because it is. I'm losing my days. I'm losing my weeks, but I look forward to every Tuesday. I know it's Tuesday because I get to see Dr. Monique and learn about how I'm not eating right and how I should be eating better. So I look forward to this. Actually, this week, I promise you, I have gotten much better. I've incorporated some brown
Good.
rice and quinoa instead of eating that white rice that's been stripped down and stuff like that. So, and I've actually grown to quite fond of it. I did have some meat, but it was very lean meat, and I was making sure that it was cooked, prepared properly.
Look at
And
you.
I had a lot of vegetables this week. A lot of vegetables.
Look at you making progress. That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm just glad to be here. Like I said, this week is it's already going by so fast. But I had a great weekend. I don't know what you did this weekend, but I was able to go to my alma mater in Chapel Hill and watch that comeback game. It was amazing. The football game was epic. We came back from 24 points down. It was a nail biter. It was so good. So but yeah, so now we're here. We got a lot to get through tonight. So let's get started. I am Dr. Monique. I am your host. I am a board certified family physician and founder of Physician in the Kitchen. And through my online platform, my cooking classes, and my best-selling book, Meal Masters, Your Simple Guide to Modern Day Meal Planning, I help busy households just like yours enjoy healthy eating without impacting their hectic schedules. So we've got folks already coming on in. Come in, come in, come in. Welcome. Join us. You know how we do around here. We rep your city. Rep that city. Let us know where you are watching us from. Be sure to tag friends and families because, sharing is caring, right? So if you care, you share.
Definitely.
So share, let these folks know. Come on in here, get this information. If you are watching this on the replay, please post hashtag replay. We love to have you, love to know that you were here, and leave your comments as well. So, this weekend I talked a little bit about, but this weekend we actually fell back, right? We gained an hour. So
Woo!
I don't know if I can tell that I had an extra hour or not, but other than it getting darker earlier, right? But yeah, so days are getting even shorter. So it's just a lot going on. And the T word is right around the corner, right? So
Yes. You know what? That is my favorite holiday. I'm not even gonna lie because that
okay.
there is there is that kind of psychic connection between family and food, and so that was always the time that we all got to be with our extended larger family, the cousins and grandparents and all that stuff. And so Thanksgiving has grown to be, it's always been my favorite holiday because Christmas can have some disappointments because you got the whole presents thing, and it's just
It's so commercial. Christmas can be
it's so
so
commercialized.
commercial, right?
Thanksgiving is about the food, the family, and the fellowship, and it's not about getting the person the right gift and all this other stuff that comes first.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I love it. It's kind of like the Super Bowl for people who cook, kind of, right? So I love it. I love Thanksgiving. My mom, I don't know if she's watching yet. We call her Sarge. She's already assigned, what dish I'm making and everything. So it's I got to stretch. I got to stretch and hydrate to get ready, but but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Well, we've got a lot to get to tonight, and tonight we promised you that we would give you 3 tips on how to start your vegan journey, right? Or plant-based journey. Because we've been talking about, vegan-ish. On this show, we talk about my journey, what has worked for me, what hasn't worked for me. I'd like to give you information on, my experience to help you in any areas that you may have questions or challenges in. So I thought it would be a good idea to maybe just talk about what's the 3 good ways to get started. And actually, I see the question about what's your favorite dish for Thanksgiving. We'll definitely touch on that as well. But so what are some 3 things? So if say you're standing there, you're thinking, or sitting there watching this, you're like, I really want to start a plant-based diet, but I just don't know where. I don't know how to start. I don't know what to do. I would encourage you, first and foremost, we've talked about this before, but everything starts with mindset, right? So know your why. Why are you wanting to incorporate more plants and vegetables in your diet? Is it because for health reasons? Have you been to the doctor and your numbers aren't looking quite so good, or the number on that scale is creeping up? Is it an environmental thing? Do you not just want to, you want to lower your carbon footprint and all that, and you don't want to contribute to those issues? Are you doing it because of peer pressure? You've got friends at work that are doing it, and maybe you feel like you should join in. You have to really identify why you're doing it and what's important, why it's important to you, because that's how you build buy-in, and that's how you get those long-term successes. There's something called an internal locus of control, kind of a psychological term. Sometimes in
Mhm.
leadership, we talk about that as well. And basically, what that just means is that you determine the outcomes of your success, your actions, and make the results of whether you're going to be successful or not. Your abilities, your decisions influence the outcomes of your life. So that puts the locus on you. That's when it says internal locus. That means what's driving you. Where is it coming from within you that's making you do this? Basically, you're more likely to be successful because you're the one who controls it. So I encourage you to know your why, because you want to make sure this is something that, I'm doing this because I want to live a longer life. I want to see my grandchildren. I want to do this, that, and the other. So identify those things, because that's what's going to help keep you going when you may have some challenges and face some difficulties. So number two, I would say pick a day to start your vegan journey. Right. When I was in practice, I would encourage people who smoked to pick a day. Now you can do cold turkey. You have to know you. Some people, do they go out and do this cold turkey? Sure. But if you're not that person, don't let this be the thing that you start with, right? So if you need kind of a little lead in, you need to get your mind right and all that, pick a day that, in the near future, about a week or so, not too far out, because then you may get busy and forget. But pick a day to start that has meaning to you. Maybe it's an upcoming special birthday, a milestone birthday. Maybe you're a cancer survivor and you've been in remission, and this is your second birthday is coming up, right? So whatever that day is, or that has that meaning to you, go more with that versus New Year's Eve. I kind of, when I hear New Year's Eve resolutions, I kind of cringe a little bit every year, because that's more of an external focus, right? We just talked about internal focus. Well, if you're doing something because it's the beginning of the year, that's just a day on the calendar. But that
Wait,
didn't mean,
wait, I can't do that.
I mean, how successful has it been though, Ellis? And how successful? And that's probably why people are not as successful, because by week 2 or February or March, they didn't have that buy-in, so they fell off. I used to belong to this gym, and I was there at 5 o'clock in the morning. I go hard and go home in the gym. And I would hate January 1st, because that's when all these New Year's
Yeah.
resolution people would be getting all the good parking spots. I was like, y'all not going to be here in 3 weeks. So let's just cut out the foolishness.
I don't even worry about it. When I would go to the gym, I promise you, that was January. I wouldn't even worry about it. I'm like, y'all will be gone by the time February gets here.
Exactly. But they were just in there taking up space. Like, move along. Let the real people get in. So
Yeah.
right, but why? Because society says it's New Year's, we need to, make drastic changes overnight. That's not realistic. So I just encourage you to pick a day that's ideal for you, and that means something to you. It could be New Year's Eve, could be, the holidays are tough for some people. There are a lot of emotional triggers. That may not be the time to try to start something like this.
Right.
And then thirdly, I would say commit to one day a week where you're going to go meatless, easy, hashtag meatless Monday, or, tofu Tuesday or something like that. Pick a day where just one day a week, because we're talking about small steps, right? Just baby steps. But that you can say, well, this one day I'm going to try lentils or mushrooms. And I'm telling you, depending on how you season that, either of those can have a very meaty taste. I made some lentils this morning and my kitchen smelled like I was cooking meat. So it can really do the trick for you. So, one day a week, we all can probably handle that. Okay. So I mean, give me some feedback out there, guys. When you hear these tips, is this something that resonates with you? What is your why? If we can put in the chat, what are some of your reasons for being interested in this? Like, why are you, here? Why are you tuning in tonight? What is your why for being interested in adopting a more plant-based diet? And what challenges if any, have you faced, and how did you overcome them? So let's
Yeah,
see.
while we're waiting on the comments, I'll answer. My why was I realized I was gaining weight. Pandemic. I put on my pandemic pounds,
Mhm.
and recognized I hadn't been going to the doctor like I should during the pandemic. Right, just
Yeah.
being completely transparent. I wasn't. Everybody was like, I only ventured out when I needed to.
Right. Well,
Grocery
that was difficult.
store.
Difficult.
Things like that. So. And I was like, I started getting some concerns. I've got a family history of cholesterol and family history of hypertension and all these other things. And so, after doing all these shows with all these great doctors like Dr. Monique et al., and I was like, you know what? And they kept saying the same thing over and over again. The best way to prevent this disease, the best way to prevent this disease is by eating a more plant-based diet. And that was the kind of the running theme through all of these programs. And I said, you know what?
Pretty much.
Probably should. If I'm not gonna, I definitely need to go start back up on my regular checkups and things of that nature to get my baselines. But also, if I do want to have a healthier life, I probably should start eating a more plant-based diet. So that was kind of my why as to what got me started on this journey. So I was really excited about this show and really, and I will say this, being fully transparent, I do appreciate the fact that you're not banging us over the head with the whole vegan thing. You're like, hey, take your baby steps. Here's some great tips. Because I could follow those tips. I could do one meatless day. I've kind of already started, and I've already started on that journey, and it's becoming easier each day. And I'm starting to rethink how I see foods and how I see labels and other things like that. So
That's
thank you.
awesome. Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome. And then I've got one. Actually, I got a bonus tip for you guys too. It's always good to have a bonus, right? So again, we're talking about simple things you can do. Look up easy recipes. Some of these vegan or plant-based recipes, you look up and it's like 15 items or 15 ingredients. You're like, oh my God, like who's doing that? Look up something that has maybe 4 to 6 ingredients, maybe not counting spices. But you want to do something that actually has, or you want to use a recipe that may have that uses food you already have. So maybe when you go shopping, you maybe have to buy 1 or 2 new things, but not a whole overhaul of your kitchen. So look for simple recipes containing foods that you already have, and foods or recipes that are easy to swap out if you're trying to do that one meatless day.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, I'm working on my cookbook is coming out. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I'm already working on volume 2, and I want to have a lentil meatloaf in there. So I'm working on that as we speak. So I want like a 5 or 6 ingredient lentil meatloaf because you want it to be easy so that people can do it. So stay tuned. There's more to come on that.
I promise you, you stay in the lab for the lentil meatloaf.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's going. You laugh now, Ellis, but I promise you.
I trust you. I'm just, I'm still on day one of my journey.
Well, there you go. There you go. See, I'm just trying to get ready for when you as you advance. I'm gonna have something ready for you. So we're gonna
Yeah.
keep it going.
Lentil meatloaf that's like that's like the second week. I'm on day one. That's like week 2.
Oh well, hey, I'll take that. Week 2, that's not bad. Let me just see where some folks are tuning in from. We've got Florida in the house. We've got Irmo, South Carolina. Wow, thank you for watching. Brooklyn's in the house, Bronx girl here. Love to see New York in here. So definitely, you guys, don't forget, please tag your friends. Let them come on in and join. And if you're watching this on the replay, post #replay just to refresh or remind people if you're just joining us. I am Dr. Monique. I'm a board certified family physician and founder of Physician in the Kitchen. And I use my platform to help busy households just like yours, enjoy healthy eating without impacting your hectic schedules. And the show Veganish is about my plant-based journey or my journey toward a more plant-based diet and bring you guys along for the ride. So we've got some comments. Sharon Hayes said, my why is she wants to eat better, lose a few pounds, didn't like the results from the doctor, and most importantly, wants to be around for your kids. Definitely. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, right? So you're doing it for yourself, but then you're also doing it for your kids. And you're also, by doing that, setting examples for your children, which they're going to remember and hopefully, imitate as well. So good for you. So yeah, want to feel better and live longer, definitely. So, we're coming up. This time goes so fast, Alice, because time flies when you're having fun. I mean, this is week 4. Can you believe we've been doing this 4 weeks already?
Yeah, this has been fun. Oh, so we've got a good question. What is a good plant-based breakfast?
Oh, that's a great, great, great question. Let's see, how can I answer that quickly? Ellis mentioned earlier he had some quinoa. Quinoa is one of my favorite things. I'm not a oatmeal person, so
Okay.
I prefer quinoa. But anything, your whole grains are going to be great for breakfast. You can
Mhm.
do tofu for breakfast. You can do egg replacements that are made from plants versus animal eggs. So lots of things out there. Cereals that are made with whole grains. Whole wheat bread, whole wheat toast. So lots of different things out there. Of course, fruits, vegetables for breakfast. Think about sweet potatoes or butternut squash in a breakfast bowl. That's a definite power punch to get your day started. So don't forget your nuts, your seeds. All of those are excellent, excellent sources of energy and quality carbs, proteins, and good fats. Great
I like
question.
the idea of the sweet potato. I like that idea. Maybe cut some banana on top of it, and
Mhm.
little
Yep, yep.
cinnamon,
Exactly. Little
little
cinnamon.
cinnamon, and pure sugar. Because we talked about what type of sugar is vegan. We talked about
Exactly.
that on the previous show. So you can't use the white cane sugar. You
Or
have to
maple
use
syrup. Maple syrup is a good one
maple
to use
syrup
as
as
well.
well.
Yep.
Yes.
Avocado toast. Yes, I love avocado toast, and it's so easy to make. So, all right. Well, you guys are getting this kind of queued up a little bit for my favorite segment, which is vegan or not. It's that time of
Vegan
the
or
month.
not.
So I don't have models to show you tonight, but I promise you all know all of the things that we're going to do tonight. So with the holidays coming up, I had to throw one in here. So we're going to start off with cranberry jelly. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my mom's dressing is, I mean, as good as it is, it's not complete until I have that big spoonful of that cranberry jelly that comes out of the can with the rings around it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So that stuff, that cranberry jelly, is that vegan or not? Now we're talking about the ones you get in the store. I'm not talking about what you make yourself, because that may or may not be. But the commercially produced cranberry jelly, is that vegan or not? What do you guys think?
I, I'm gonna go with my initial response. Is that cranberry jelly? Just by the fact that it says jelly alone, I'm gonna say nah on the
Okay.
jelly, and I think I'm thinking there's some non-vegan ingredients that's causing it to gel. Uh,
Like gelatin you're speaking of?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
something like that
Okay.
to make it gel. And I know that gelatin has some sort of plant-based, animal-based product
Mhm.
created. So I would say, yeah, nah on the cranberry jelly.
Ellis is like a food detective over here. Like every week, he like breaks it down. Like he gives me no, and then he tells me why. And he be like pulling stuff all together. I'm impressed. He's not necessarily always right, but his thought process is very interesting. So we got it. Everyone is coming in. Nah, they think cranberry jelly may not be vegan. I don't know. What do you guys? We'll give a little couple more come through. You guys tell me, vegan or not?
Well, thank you, Brenda and Cynthia and Sabrina and Sharon for backing me
That's
on my.
right. You got a whole squad with you tonight.
Rocking. It's the days have it.
So actually, then this one, guys, I was a little sneaky with you, but yes, it actually technically is vegan. It's just cranberries, but it's the other stuff that's in it. So if someone said no because of the ingredients, you get half a point for that, because while it technically is vegan, the second ingredient on the can. Now remember, we talked about reading those labels and the how the items are in descending order as far as how much of it is in the food. The second item on a can of that cranberry jelly is high fructose corn syrup, which is vegan. It's just not good for you. So, we've talked about how high fructose corn syrup in the body can increase inflammation and oxidation and damage to tissues and blood vessels and things like that. So, yes, it is vegan, but not good for you. You can make your own cut out the high fructose corn syrup and be just as delicious and satisfying with that dressing, that turkey dressing. So, all right. So I just want to kind of point that out because, we think vegan is like, oh, well, it has to be healthy. But actually we see how it can be vegan and not necessarily healthy for you. So I wanted to use that as a teaching point there. So the next one, Caesar dressing. We know salads are healthy, right? You eat a salad, is good for you. So is a Caesar salad, Caesar dressing salad or Caesar salad, is that good for you? Is that vegan or is that vegan or not? What do we think about Caesar dressing? It's tangy, it's a little tangy, it's creamy, it's it's just a little salty. But is it so it's a nice compliment to those romaine leaves, but is it vegan? Hey my cuz Treese is watching, or Whitney, she's watching. She says it's not. My mom is watching. She says not, a lot of not. So yeah, Crystal says nope because it has cheese. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and just give it to you. You're right. It does have cheese, but actually that's not the only reason that it's not vegan. There's actually 3 things that it has that are not vegan. So it's got the dressing is what we're talking about. The Parmesan cheese, but also it has anchovies and it has eggs. So a Caesar dressing is made with eggs. And I did not know that until I had a very unfortunate personal experience with bad eggs in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico.
Mm.
Yeah, it ended up with me in the ER back here in Charlotte. But anyway, it's so yeah, those is not vegan. But I just wanted to, again, we think about salads as being healthy. And so some of these terms are used interchangeably incorrectly. Okay. Any salad can be made unhealthy by what you put on it. Like ranch dressing. Ranch is usually a combination of either mayo or sour cream or buttermilk, none of which are vegan. So just a reminder, again, just want to kind of get you to start thinking about some of these terms we use and whether they're vegan, whether they're not, whether they're healthy, and just start to look at things a little differently. And the last one we've got fruits and vegetables. Are some fruits, and I'm talking about fresh fruits and vegetables in your produce aisle in your grocery store, are they vegan or not? Y'all know I like to throw little curveballs at you. So let's see what's coming in. What are folks saying so far? I think they're thinking about it, Alice. So we got a yes, like duh, fruits and vegetables are vegan. What's wrong with you, lady? What are you talking about? Yeah. So Layla Barr said, I hope so.
Vegetables are not vegan. I'm quitting the show. Because I'm gonna throw up both my hands. I'm be like, okay,
life is not worth living. Like, what is really going on?
So I hope so. I know because she's been throwing them curves on us. She's like, I'm with you. I'm like, okay, now.
I have a future in the Major League Baseball with these curveballs. Wow. So Crystal said, well, it depends. Yes, very good, Crystal. It does depend. Do you know why it depends, though? You're going in the right direction. Can you tell us why it depends? And these are fresh fruits and vegetables in the grocery store, not necessarily like ones you might get at a farmer's market or, of course, that you grow yourself. Fruit when they start spraying the various pesticides and chemicals. That's a good point. That is a good point. Specifically, what I'm referring to here, though, is that some of the fresh fruits and vegetables actually have wax on them. So they use wax. Wax can be used as a preservative. It can be used, as you said, some of the pesticides. And so wax, as we know, is made can be made with from bees, and so it's not considered vegan. So isn't that crazy? Like you think you're eating something, you're like, wait a minute. So the quick way around that, or the workaround for that, would just be to peel that off, because you can wash it. I'm not sure how much of that would come off. Probably cleaning it with a solution of like water and a little bit of white vinegar. But yeah, so it depends. It depends. So And the ones, the fruits and vegetables that tend to be affected by this would be things like apples, avocados, bell peppers, oranges, which you don't necessarily eat the outside of that anyway, cucumbers, eggplants, lots of different ones, peaches, pineapples. So lots to kind of think about. So
Wow. I think it's really hard to live a truly vegan life because of all of these different things that they either, if it's prepackaged or processed food, you got to read all those ingredients to make sure. Or if it's something like, even like as you go to the produce section, if I pick up an apple, I'm not even, well, now I'm not sure anymore because it depends. But I used to be pretty sure that when I picked up an
hey,
apple and dropped it in the bag, that I
you
was
would
getting
think,
something that was vegan, right?
you would think, you would think. So, all right, well, we are going to turn to our next subject today, and it's nutrition in the news. And I just came across this today, and I was like, oh, this is perfect timing. I love, when things kind of come together. So I found this article about this study that was recently done. It was research done at Texas Tech and also Penn State. And they found that adding herbs and spices to your food can help lower your blood pressure. And the really cool thing about this, now, let me just, the disclaimer here is it was only 71 people in the study, so really tiny. To be scientifically important, it really has to be thousands and thousands of people. So small study, but it had some very interesting findings because what they did was they just had people eat a regular American diet. It wasn't even, a vegan diet or a plant-based diet. They were allowed to eat what they typically ate, but they just had to add a variety or varying amounts of spices and herbs, either low, moderate, or high amounts. And what they found was after 4 weeks, the people who ate the higher end, which was worked out to about a table and a quarter of herbs and spices, after 4 weeks, they had lower blood pressures. So very interesting. The people who had the biggest drop, or they noticed in their systolic blood pressure, which is the number on the top when you go to the doctor's office and they check your pressure. The number on the top is a systolic. So that one, they had a higher decrease with that dose of herbs and spices. And then when they also had a lower diastolic blood pressure with the higher dose, when they compared it to like the low or moderate amounts. So very interesting. And that was just after 4 weeks. It wasn't even a long time. And each person, each group, they all had the same amount. So in other words, after like 2 weeks, they would do the one dose or take a low dose for 4 weeks. Then they would do a 2-week washout, and then they would do the moderate amount, and then they would do the high amount. So they all had the same amount, and it was interesting. And the herbs that they looked at, it was things like thyme, cinnamon, basil, turmeric. So things that a lot of us should have in our spice cabinet.
Right.
Now, I will say, the other thing that was interesting, they didn't mess with the salt levels. They didn't have them decrease their salt, and they didn't have them add more fruits and vegetables. Again, it was just adding the herbs and spices to what they were already eating. So I think
Fresh
that's
or dried, or a combination of both? Was that fresh herbs, dried herbs, or a combination?
That's a good point. I would imagine it was dried because of things like turmeric and maybe you can get fresh turmeric, but I think it was more dried.
Okay.
But that's a good point. And the other disclaimer, though, you always want to look at who's doing these studies, right? And it was supported by McCormick Science Institute. So they may have had a little bit of a their thumb on the scale. You never know. So this is something that definitely needs to be.
What they do at the company retreat? They did that. The 71 people at the company retreat at the
Right.
McCormick company.
I don't know. I don't know. I do find it interesting though, and it certainly is promising. It definitely needs to be
Yeah.
replicated under, again, with the higher numbers of people,
Yeah.
not sponsored by a major spice company. But it is interesting because it does seem like it would make sense. It does seem logical. So
It does have
yeah,
some logic base in there. I will say that So yeah, even though it was sponsored by McCormick, I won't cause that, because it does have some logic in it, because we already know that turmeric has anti-inflammatory. We already know that cinnamon does help reduce
sugar.
cholesterol and sugar, and diabetics, they recommend using cinnamon. So there are already some healing, some body kind of healing
Exactly.
anti-inflammatory qualities in those spices, and so I could see how it could help with hypertension as well.
Yeah, because herbs have been used as medicinals for centuries, but in
Yeah.
a variety of cultures all around the world. So yeah, it does make sense. And they wanted to look to see, they use blood pressure because we know the leading causes of death in this country: heart disease, diabetes, stroke, high blood pressure is a big factor in that. And so that's why they were looking at that measure or that indicator. So I just thought that was interesting. And like I said, hopefully there's more to come about that down the road.
Absolutely.
So Ellis, it's about that time. I mean, can you believe it? We've been at it for 30 minutes. I swear,
It goes by so fast, especially when
it
we get
does.
to the vegan or not. That's always so fun, and it's like to the
It
loop.
does. It does. So next week, we're getting closer to the holidays. So we're going to give you some tips next week on how to plan your way to a stress-free holiday meal. You need to start now. I mean, go ahead and start now, right? Don't wait till 3 nights before or the night before, especially with the food supply being what it is, the food chain and everything, supply chains being disrupted and things being in scarce supply. So we're going to get into that next week. But in the meantime, I am Dr. Monique. I'm your host. Please follow me at Physician in the Kitchen on all social media. And we're going to be talking about, too, my upcoming cookbook is going to be out soon, guys. You're going to get your pre-sale order in. Doc Fix My Plate, the Physician in the Kitchen's Guide to Your Healthy Plate Makeover. And we're going to be I talk about things in the book like we talk about here on the show. So more about that later to come. But Ellis, you got anything else for the folks that have joined us tonight?
Well, yeah, if you're looking across, what's scrolling across the bottom of the screen is our Black Doctor has what is called Green Power, and it is a fruit and vegetable based drink that you just take a scoop and drop it into water, shake it up. And so get all the information about Green Power at the website, blackdoctor.org/green-power. So you can check out Green Power, and that will be a good way to kind of supplement. It's a supplement, not to be your only fruits and vegetables of the day, but it's a nice supplement to get you kickstarted and has some energy boosting qualities. And so it's something that I have it. I do take it. I have taken it, and it does help act as a cleanse for you and everything like that. So scrolling across the bottom is our Green Power. So check that out.
All right, guys. Well, be sure to join us same station, same time next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, I am Dr. Monique, and I'm going to go get in this kitchen. You guys have a great one.